Who are you? I've been here long enough. I will kill again. And defile each corpse with care. Just to be sure that when they're reborn, they'll be cursed. Along with their children. And their children's children. For all time to come. I will kill again. And defile each corpse with care. Just to be sure that when they're reborn, they'll be cursed. Along with their children. And their children's children. For all time to come.
So this is a tactic if you don't know already. You could lure this guy out and have him chase you, and then he'll fall into that pit where these creatures, these plants, these toxic plants, are basically gonna wear down his health, because he's kind of dumb and he followed you down the ladder, but he wasn't paying attention to the enemies that are down here, because well, he's kind of dumb. So if you lure him out, you don't even have to get into a fight. You could just lure him down and wait for his health to bleed out. So I didn't think of that before. I thought maybe I could just stab him because my weapon is pretty high. Well, it's not really high, but it's okay by standards of wait, where is he? Alright, so his health is not being hit again. I might have to lure him out. So make sure. Toxic cloud. I don't see him, so that means his health is not being hit. Wait for this guy to finish his spores, then I'll try again. Maybe he went upstairs. That's what he did. He went all the way back upstairs. Oh no, he didn't. Now I'm poisoned. Shit. Alright, so that's the thing with regards to this. Now he's not going to follow you. He's going to stop because he's getting hit by the enemy. So he's going to try to kill the enemy that's hitting him, or at least ignore you and ran back to where he came from. So the objective is to keep bringing him towards the toxic, and then it'll eventually kill him. That's a nice little way to take care of the dung eater. The person that you heard at the beginning of the game, how to take care of guys like this. Like, he's pretty tough, even with my level at 160 and the weapon level at past 200 strength. He's tough. I got him down past half his health with my powers and with the spear. Well, the first time, not the second time. But as you can see, he could lock you into an animation and keep you there. Then you're screwed when he casts his power on you. So, best thing to do, easiest thing to do, is lure him out. Make sure his health isn't depleted. Hit him once or twice. And let him follow you all the way out. Let's come up behind him, because he's going to try to go for the stairs, but he's too stupid to go back upstairs. So he's going to stay downstairs. And you just hit him and then run away, and hit him and run away. Now if he follows you all the way here, then just run back to the stairs, go upstairs, and hopefully he doesn't knock you off the stairs. And then he climb up the stairs and climb back down the stairs, and then rinse and repeat until he's dead. So that's a nice little fun way of taking care of this guy without actually taking care of this guy. So this is my first try at it, but I could basically see that this is a mechanic. Now if your weapon is stronger, like level 6 or 7, you could take care of him easy even before using this tactic. But if your weapon is weak and you manage to reach to the capital regardless of your level, it's going to be hard to take him out, because weapon level is what's mixed up. Hits really hard and hits the enemies really hard. So that's the thing. And he's kind of dumb that way, because he's desperately trying to get back up the stairs. But I guess the people who made the game figured that in his animation set he won't be smart enough to get back up the stairs or climb back up the stairs. He'll only chase you back up the stairs if I go back up the stairs, but I haven't done it yet. But I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to do. He's going to stay down there till I go to the stairs, and then he's going to attack me. But the moment he gets hit by an enemy attack, he decides to go on to the defensive and to protect himself from enemy attacks coming his way. So he stayed by the stairs. But he doesn't realize that the effects of the toxic is going to get him. So that's an issue for him. So let me just turn this volume down, keep doing the same thing until he's dead. You see, there are many ways to defeat anything in this game. There are many ways to defeat anything in this game. Do not automatically assume there's just one method to beat everything in this game. Don't automatically assume that leveling up is the best way to leveling up or strengthening your weapons or vitality or vigor is how you get strong enough, as well as using different strength tactics. Some fat rolling here. Get this off. Should be back underneath him. Yeah, using different strength tactics and defense tactics. Yeah, skills is good and everything. Well, so some enemies do elemental damage or arcane damage or well, elemental or magic damage, and you can't block those. So you have to use various different tactics in order to lure the enemy out. So stealth is one of the good things about this game. It's not really a stealthy game. It's more like how you would go about executing something from a stealth point of view. Like other games are better at stealth, but this is more like tactics to use to solve a problem. He destroyed me twice, but that's only twice. And then I automatically figure out, okay, well, I don't have to fight him. I could just lure him out, and hopefully this tactic works, and it does. Apparently, he can't get back up the stairs. He should have gone back up the stairs, but he can't get back up the stairs. And he should have run past those spores, but he didn't, because he got attacked by it. And when an enemy get attacked and they see something happen to their health, they seem to back up, and so I was banking on that being the case, or at least running around and keep getting toxic infected and having enough toxic spores to relieve myself of any type of sickness. So he's down and he's out, so I'll pick up whatever items he was supposed to drop, and if he didn't drop any item, I'm going to go back to that room in the round table and then speak to his other version of himself. Because this is the Dung Eater from the beginning of the game. All those different characters that when you first start the game, at the intro of the game, these are different characters. They're not the main characters, demigods and stuff. These are all the NPCs that you come across in the game. Some you will fight, and some you'll just talk to, like Gideon. Yeah, but Dung Eater is pretty much done for, and I'm pretty much finished with him. I'm not sure if I'm finished with his quest, but I've defeated his character, so I don't have to worry about Dung Eater anymore. So whatever he drops, whether it's a weapon or armor, it's going to be sweet. And you don't even have to be by my level in order to do this. You just have to have the key after beating, I guess, after you beat a demigod or get past Margot in order to get the key. Or maybe you just have to beat a certain amount of enemies before he gives you the key, and then you come down here in the capital. Pretty much you have to be a certain amount of strength in order to get to the capital anyway. So by the time you get to the capital, regardless of your strength, you come down here, you don't have to fight this dude at all. You just lure him past these flowers, run all the way here, wait, watch his health as it goes down, and then that's it. Just make sure your weapon is strong enough to do a couple of hits. Learning experience, very good learning experience. Thankfully I only died twice before I figured it out. And that's it. I'm really not supposed to have died twice. Should have died several times, to be honest with you. Okay, climb, please. And honestly, I believe I only use my toxic spores to relieve my sickness, neutralizing, what's it called, balms or blossoms. Okay, can't see. That's one of the things I was stating about this game. The text that they use for certain things are very small. It's not very good. It's not a good idea, but it's alright. Not good, but not extremely bad either. It's just like if the text is very small, it becomes kind of hard to read. It's not very good. They should have at least given you the opportunity to increase the text size, but they never did. Okay, so this is where I died. I mean, I'm surprised at myself for figuring it out that fast, but to be honest with you, it's not that complicated to figure out. The moment you realize that these guys are going to be a problem. Well, or I could just fast travel. I already got what I want from them. Yeah. The moment you realize something seems like impossible, there's probably another tactic in order to do it. And this is a game where you can use various tactics. You don't have to use the same ones all the time. You don't have to strengthen up. You don't have to smith up your weapons that many times. Sometimes it just requires you to just use your head and figure out how to defeat the enemy. If the enemy is not like a boss, a demigod boss that locks you into a battle behind a door and you can't go anywhere, then those enemies can't be defeated. If it's in the open world, those enemies can be defeated using various tactics. I could have snuck up on the Dung Eater and drop a couple of poison mists on him to lower his health, sneaked away without waking up those hand spiders, aim a couple of bows at him, have him chase me. His health will already be down with some poison mist, and then lowering him into the air with more poison mist from these flowers, and he would have died earlier. So that's a nice little thing that anyone who comes across the Dung Eater should do. Like, if you haven't done it before, I highly recommend you try it. You won't die as many times as the Dung Eater. In fact, if you follow this that I said, you'll probably die once if you screw up, but that's it. So unless they decide to patch it, which I don't think they care, because otherwise they would have done it a long time ago. But if they do, it doesn't really matter. Let them chase you, run away from him. You gets too close, run back up the stairs, let him chase you back up the stairs, follows you back up the stairs, quickly get to the stairs again. If those spiders wake up, go down the stairs. Make sure you have like 4 or 5 of those poison blossoms. Well, those aren't blossoms, because blossoms is spelled different. Damn it! I mean, it went by. Blouses, like really, like blouse, like a blouse. All right, well, blouses then. Okay. So it's poison blouses. Okay, so get 5 of these. I only used 2 of them. Actually, I had like 8 of them probably, but you only really need 5, just in case you screw up. You probably don't even need that much. Probably only need 4 at max. Not even if you actually know what to do. So you'll probably die once. The whole point of that is to lure him in, and that's all I gotta say about that. Not sure if anyone has done this before. And there probably are people who have done videos about it before, but this is something I just discovered on my own while I was just playing. So if you haven't done it before, I highly recommend you try it. Lessen your stress of fighting Dung Eater. And I didn't even realize that he was Dung Eater either from the beginning of the game intro. I thought Dung Eater was going to be a giant sized monster or something. I didn't realize it was this guy who's a scumbag who defiles corpse with his disease of eating dungs. You know, I guess he ate so much shit that eventually poisoned him, and he decides to do the same thing to others. So when they hanged him, and at the beginning of the game when you saw that little design, it's probably because that's what he did when he was alive, which begs the question, are we actually alive or dead? Is this like Bloodbourne, where we're actually dead or alive? Because if he was alive in here, then who the hell was that guy in there? I'm starting to think that we're not alive. I think that this might be just like Bloodbourne. So who knows? Maybe Radagon Sasha, the demigod version. I mean, not the demigod, the god version of Radagon, America, the combination of the fusion Ha or something like that. I believe they did something in the past, and because they did something in the past, then everyone that's here, the moment you get revived back from the dead, you're not in the reality anymore. You're in probably the realm of the dead. I think they obliterated a lot of people, and Radagon / Marika, those ashes of tarnish that wake you up from the dead, are kind of like pull you into reality again, but you're not technically in the real world because you're already dead. So who knows what the hell is going on. It's not like there's anything to explain any of this, and some people have went online to explain it, but I don't think they're 100% correct, because if we're actually alive, then how the hell are there two of them? You know? See, he's not here. He was here before, and he told me to go look for his corporeal self located in that area, like his other self that's not his real self, that looks exactly like him. So if something goes corporeal, or I mean, I don't know how I say it, if that was his corporeal self, was his real self, then the guy that was in here end up in here, it wasn't real at all. So does that mean the people in here aren't real at all? Because I remember I ran to a place in the capital that looks exactly like this place, but not a dark misty place of the round table like this is, but a more light destructive place where books aren't on tables, where rooms aren't open, and where the round table over here doesn't have chairs and light and swords. There, everything is broken and destroyed, withered away and broke down. So that tells me if we're going from when we leave here and we're going into the world, we're going into the world where things were already destroyed, and this place is simply an illusion, or a resting place for things that are dead, so they could transcend from going back from here into reality. I don't know what the hell going on. I'm just surmising things, but regardless, we got done with this stuff, and I'm gonna proceed forward. Hopefully my network don't go down. I'm surprised that it hasn't. Alright, I'll continue on. I gotta fight the fire giant, but I don't know how to get to him. And that's another thing, you really have to look around in this game in order to find stuff. It's not like there's a direction for you to find out. So in all truth, this game isn't long whatsoever at all. It's actually short. It's just that they decide to put it in a way so that you cannot find how to get to things. Because if they actually showed you or tell you how to get to things, you would already known how long this game was, and it would already been short. So technically the game isn't short. It's the distribution, the shards, if you want to call it, similar to the shattering, are split. The stories are split all over the place. So it actually is a short game. I'm not talking short as in less than 10 hours. I'm talking about short as in probably less than 30 hours. In the story, I mean. Probably less than 20 hours in the story. Since this game doesn't have conversations and motion caption of people actually talking, communicating with each other. It's just stories, it's just in the text of NPCs. And every now and again you get a major cutscene. So I'm saying the story is short, and what makes the game long is exploration, the boss battles, dying over and over again, and not being able to find certain things without achieving certain things, part of the story or part of side story, that make you run back and forth. So that said, if you just skip all of this and just play the story itself, just the story itself of the game, I'm pretty sure this game is below 20 hours if you're just playing the story itself. Like going from, based on where I am now, after doing all this exploration, after playing game all this exploration, based on where I am now, and beating 2 demigods, one mini god, or one champion, and then an ashes of a champion, Godfrey, or a representation of a champion, not Godfrey himself. So you could say that's a champion as well. And I guess another champion, because Margit is a champion, but it's not actually Margot. I guess you could say it's a different version of Margot. So Margit, Renala, and Godfrey were like champions, because Godfrey essence style or spirit style is not actually him as the demigod yet, so he's more like a champion. And then there's Godric, a demigod, and then there's Margoth, demigod. So technically I beat 5 of these people. And then there's the mini bosses that I fought to get, like the Erdtree stuff, the tears, and the command standard. And then that huge lightning freaking cleaver or hammer thing from that asshole. And technically he was like the hardest person I've fought in this game so far. Even Margot wasn't as difficult as him, and I shackled Margot, so I can't really say Margot was difficult. I had more trouble fighting freaking that electricity guy than fighting Margot, but I had to have certain requirements to fight Margot. So basically I gotta get to the fire giant now, and in order to do so, grand lift of, that's weird. Wait a minute. I was here. Okay. Oh, Ruth. Okay, so I have to get here. But in order to get here, I have to do something. Alright, so I'll just cut the charter and keep proceeding forward. The main reason why I record these things is to see where the game is and to judge it based on everything. I guess you could start with, you could say for today, based on everything I've seen, those are what my thoughts on the game is. The beauty of the map itself isn't beauty at all. It's kind of common, normal. It's supposed to represent something old-fashioned, like what you would read inside of a fairy tale book, like old-fashioned mapping, to give you the type of nostalgic feeling of might and magic style scriptures and style of art when it comes to mapping. But even if that's the case, then it seems like they didn't put much effort into it. They made efforts, like I'm talking about the map itself. I'm not talking about this popping up and the list and then finding them from the list and then side scrolling here. I'm talking about the map itself, the design of the map itself, how the map looks, how is everything looking. They want it to look as nostalgic as they can and respectful towards how maps look from a fantasy aspect. But they only include certain things within that map. That like this is like a pirate treasure map, but they only include certain things within the map in order for you to access certain things, such as waypoints and such as site of grace. Okay, so they include several things in the map, and it says so right at the bottom. You could put a beacon down. You could put markers down. You could choose markers. You could indicate site of grace, and your map will pop up, so you could select where you need to go to find things faster. And you could zoom in and zoom out, like I'm doing, right? And you could select R3, hold it down to R3 to switch map locations, I guess. Show above ground and below ground. So that's what that is, to show a world that's above and a world that's below. And then there's the help button, which is the center of your pad, to view controllers, so you can see your setup your controllers and to get menu explanations of how everything is. That is kind of poor. I mean, if you think about it, controllers and menus, that's all that's there. This is the markers is good, that's good. The beacons is actually poor. but putting a lot of beacons to see where you're going when you're going there, that's good. The poor part of beacons is that their color is so light and that they're so small. Unless you actually stick your head towards the actual screen and zoom in, only then we'll be able to see it. And even when you will be able to see it when you zoom in, the moment you zoom out and then you want to go to a different location and then try to go back to your original location and you're trying to find it on the map, you can't find it unless you remember where you last put them. So it will take you a while, and then you'll find it, and then you'll look and say, okay, it's here, but it's so small you could hardly see it. The whole point of it is that they were supposed to, as you zoom out on the map, the beacons are supposed to get bigger. So you see how it is, how everything's turned small? Well, the beacons are supposed to light up bigger so you can see where you place the beacons. They're not supposed to be as small as the map. So that's the bad thing about that. There's also the site of grace is good, where you could find where certain things are. That's good. And go to a round table hole, and to be able to access the round table hole via here, regardless of where you are, there's a button for that. That's also good. Toggle up and toggle down, you can use that as well. So this, the whole site of grace thing is very good. The whole beacon thing isn't good. The whole marker thing is good. Show above ground, below ground is, I guess it's okay if you want to go above ground, below ground. The health is actually poor. It doesn't make much sense. It's kind of pointless because you already know what it is, because it's already stated on the map what it is. So why it's there is, I don't understand. View controls. Menu is kind of pointless to tell you this unless there's more things to scroll down to. It's just one sentence here, but I guess it's just there to be there. They could have just said it in the sentence rather than it pop up every time. It's not like you didn't know about it. So the map, the icons or the things that you press down on the buttons for the map is good. The map design itself is also good with regards to respect to the game itself and the world and the type of lore and the type of treasure island type or fairy tale type exploration. But certain indications on the map aren't good, or type of placement towards how you know what's up and what's down based on contours or understanding contours of planes and stuff. You won't be able to tell, because unless you've completed, I don't know, certain studies within school, if you even remember things from school regards to topography and contour structures of land, you won't be able to know that these lines here actually means going down, or these lines here means you're actually going down as well. So unless you actually know that these lines means going down and these lines mean going down, which means this is up, you won't be able to know that, because this doesn't mean anything to you unless you understand the map that way. Similar to this one, the color of this is very similar to the color of this, and the color of this is very similar to the color of this. That's because this is all one structure. But because this is all one structure, and it looks all the same, you can't tell based on them all being connected together which one is the highest one, because they're all the same color. So they didn't do the seams for the map good with regards to that. So the map is kind of a halfway thing, a half thing. I mean, if you really think about it, you'll understand how it works. But if you're someone who's not that fast at understanding things or care, and this is usually the case, if you don't care, you just, oh man, you fucked up your map. But they're not entirely right or wrong, because they don't really understand or care to understand why it's set that way. And the people who made the game should have understood that certain people won't be bothered to care about that. So the map is half good and half bad. And so the zoom in and zoom out to see where you are is good. But the indications, even here's a good example. When you highlight one of the gray spot and it says the name, I wouldn't say the drop shadow. It's not drop shadow. It's the gradient fill, the red gradient fill for this name and this object is not that good, because red mixed with yellow makes it kind of difficult to see an object when the object that you put in text is white. If it was black, you probably would be able to see it a little, but you probably won't, even less. The color needed to do with regards to this map had to be a color that would contrast the yellow, would contrast the blue, would contrast the red itself, for which the color is placed upon. And the only color I could think about it is the same color that they were using here. Like you see, if you put the bright yellow here, you'll be able to see that fine, even if you zoom out. That should have been the color for the text as well. Put the color for the text mainly should have been the color for the text to represent the text itself. But then if you say, well, the text color is yellow, then you can't see it because it's yellow as well. Then you have to do something opposite towards a light green, light yellow, light blue. And what color works best for text on yellow? The only colors that I could think that works best, that stand out amongst yellow, are the primary colors. Red, blue, I guess yellow, if you want to consider it's based on not print, based on just colors from computers. So the yellow is already here, and I guess the text could have been reversed. The text could have been red, and the gradient could have been yellow. See, that would have worked, because I could see that working. If your gradient background was yellow and your text was red, you'd be able to see that more. Or if your text was yellow and your background was blue, you'd be able to see that more. Or let's say, for instance, you just want the red gradient, and you still want to keep the white text. That's the whole point of what I was trying to say about increasing the text size for things that for people who can't see. So that's also a problem. That's why I say this map is half and half. Or like, you gotta look at things from a logical point of view. I can't see for shit these texts that are in white, because not only the surrounding areas, but the lightness of the environment, and of my monitor itself, and of the lightness of the red color, which falls into the warm category when it comes to coloring, not into the cool category. So these are all light colors, with exception to the blue. Blue falls into cool categories. Green falls into cool categories. So it should have been something that contrasts red at an extreme level, if you're going to use it, but not so extreme that it will hurt someone's eyes. So they went with white because it seems the most obvious, but they should have increased the text, and they should have used a different text to represent words when it comes to small things. These are not the text you want to use when it comes to creating objects that are very small. You need to make more bold, separated text. So the map is half good and half bad. So I'm going to move on with the story. That's my opinion on that. And if you decide to create anything, whether it's an artwork or design or even a video game, you got to consider it from that factor. Because can you see the text of the names of anything from this distance? No, you would have to use the map to actually state where they are. And then at this distance, your marker will actually move where it is, but you'll only be able to see the marker that it highlights and the name of the location. That's all you're seeing, an object and the name of the location. So you can't see the surrounding area. It doesn't automatically zoom into the surrounding area once you move over the text and the highlight. You would have to manually go, oh, okay, so this is Coast Cave, and it just selected this, and this is this, so let me go back to Coast Cave and then zoom in at Coast Cave, and then that works, but not from a distance here, because you can't see the name of the text. You see the text itself, and it looks large here at this distance, but still at this distance it's still bad. The text on here on the menu screen, as I'm going up and down, the white on the black, that works. White does not work good on light color backgrounds. White only works good on dark color backgrounds, dark blues, black, so on and so forth, but not on light color backgrounds. This is not good. They try to put it on red to make sure that it's dark, but the red has to be thick red. It can't be light gradient red. It should have been bold, stated, thick red, so you can actually see it's red without any type of indication that a gradient background with opacity was there, because you could see the opacity of the image on the back. It should not have been the case there. So this map is half good and half bad. So yeah, so I'll continue on with the story. I just want to indicate that if anyone ever does designs or write a book or do anything related to a map, they have to consider text size, and consider color, and consider the visual acuity, and consider their surrounding areas and the levels of how they put certain things, whether it's object on the map and so on and so forth.
If you're heading to the Forge of the Flame of Ruin, in the snowy mountaintops of the Giants, you'll need to find the Grand Lift of Rold, beyond the Forbidden Region. Or go if you would. Take no heed of cardinal sin. The Two Fingers lost their purpose a long, long time ago.
Now go forth. Well, I took you for no matter. Lay out your arms then. Back already. No matter.
Greetings. Are you here for spirit tunes?
Another thing about this game is that you clearly saw I locked onto the character, and it was this close to the character. That swing should have not gone into a slash. A swing should have hit him. That's why I say the lock on is bad. But it's not just the lock on. The fact that sometimes if you take a swing or a slash or anything, it sometimes go through the enemy and don't hit them. Or sometimes it pointed directly above the enemy, like the enemy wasn't there, and you have to go for a second attack in order to get it through. So that's another issue that the game has, and it has nothing to do with controller or anything. It's simply that's something that's a problem. There's also the issue that if you get too close to the enemy, you start to see directly through them, whether they're dead or not. So that's kind of a weird thing that they never got rid of. That's still there, and that's not nostalgic. That's still simply bad coding. But you see what I mean about the map? But you see what I mean about the map? Okay, so you see what I mean about the map? Say this is me. There are lots of things that are yellow here. And once you come onto something that's almost as deep as yellow as you, you can't tell the difference between this and this being you. You can't tell the difference whatsoever. Also, you can faintly see the blue, even when you zoom in. So, that's what I'm trying to say. In certain areas, it's like your character indication is completely invisible. Unless you strain your eyes to see it, you will never be able to see it. So that's something that they need to fix, that they never fixed. It should have been obvious from the beginning, but you can't fix everything, I guess. But still, regardless if you can't fix everything, it's still there. Alright, so I'm assuming I need to fight Radon. It won't make me get to fire giant until I fight Radon. So I'm thinking, yeah, Radon. That's the only thing that makes sense right now is Radon. Because I believe fire giant is like once you pass the halfway point, that's when you're into fire giant territory. I think Radon is like the very halfway point of the game, or at least nearing the halfway point of the game. I think fire giant is when you're at the halfway point, so I believe I have to go to Kaled in order to fight Radon. So I have to proceed fly here, showing proceed up the road up here. But there should be an indication of where to find Radon. Perhaps a castle. But that's not a castle, it's like a fort. Town of sorceries, no. Tunnels, no. Well, when I first got to Kaled, I came here, was entered Kaled lands. And I followed up the path till I got here. I believe there's a location where you get to Radon. But basically these waypoints are showing how to get to Radon anyway. See, there's none that's showing here. There's grace that are simply grace for indication of where you could rest so you could fight enemies in the air. And then there's grace that have the light coming out of them, point to the direction that you need to go to regards to progressing that area. So I'll go here and I'll see what's what. The game is good so far. The game is good so far. I like the whole Tolkien feel. I like the Game of Thrones feel. I like the locations and everything. I like the fantasy aspects of the game. Certain things that they wanted to do based on those type of mythologies. I get more of a Tolkien feel from this game rather than I get a Game of Thrones feel. I get more of the Tolkien feel, or Sharandar feel. I get more of a Sharandar feel. Is it really Sharandar? So, let me think real hard on that. Is it really Sharandar or the Wheel of Time? I get more of a Sharandar feel, because Sharandar maps were very much like this, but they go into more details on their maps. They try to get the Sharandar feel, but they didn't hit it. It's very hard to get things in detail like Sharandar. If you read the books, you will understand what I'm saying. Or even if you didn't read the books, you look at them from an image in Google, you'll see what I mean by how they set up their maps. Sharandar is very good, especially the Sword of Sharandar. Check out that book, the Sword of Sharandar book. It will tell you everything about Sharandar, where its past, its present. So this is more like Tolkien Sharandar rather than Tolkien Game of Thrones. I guess you could say the violence is more Game of Thrones, but the aspects of how things look is more Tolkien. But the elemental use of everything, I wouldn't say it's Sharandar. Sharandar's very different in elements because they're about robots and stuff from time in the future. Things go back, so you got to factor in robots and stuff. And that's not Tolkien at all. But the scope of the world is very Sharandar, and how buildings are set are very Sharandar and Tolkien-like. But I guess even Game of Thrones took their stuff from Tolkien. But then again, Game of Thrones did the same thing in its own genre. Well, to be honest with you, it's Game of Thrones stuff is more realistic based on what he was trying to execute with regards to medieval mythology in his books. But as the scope of the fantasy aspect of the world is very much more Tolkien and Sharandar in the scope of the world. I mean, not in the elemental aspects of things, individual, because you can't factor in robots in here. That's something totally different. Yeah, it's another book that's very much like that. I think the Wheel of Time is Wheel of Time is kind of like that as well. So it's very much Wheel of Time, very much Sharandar. And you know, those television shows don't do those books justice. If you actually look at the books, the visual presentation of those books, it's far better than watching the actual shows, man. I have no idea what these people do when they make Game of Thrones and Sharandar and Wheel of Time, and it's like they're trying to do something, but they don't understand what it is they're doing. So I don't know. Alright, so I'll continue on. I'm right here. I'll follow the grace indications to where I need to go. It says I need to go to this castle area right here. That's where I'm gonna go. Yeah, I don't care if my internet goes down. I'm surprised I was on for this long. But I usually play exploration on my own, so I'm good. If it goes down, it goes down, but I'm exploring right now. I'm not actually playing the story. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not gonna bring out my summons for these guys. I'm too over level for them right now. Alright, so I might have to... look this up online for a quick second, because I have no idea where I'm going. And that's another thing about the game. It's all about exploration and everything, but if you're specifically trying to go somewhere, even if you have conversation with NPCs, once you get to that location, you still won't know exactly where you gotta go. So the game is kind of a clusterfuck that way. Some people like that it's clustered, but clustered as with regards to placing stories all over the place is one thing. Where to go once you find a cluster is another thing. You shouldn't have your clusters also have clusters, because then that's when you run into the problem of pissing off your audience. It should be clustered so you could find fragments of your story all over the place. But if your clusters have clusters themselves, that's when you run into the risk of pissing off the audience. So I found information how to get to Radahn before, as well as how to get the Fire Giant, and I have to proceed through certain stories in order to unlock it, which is in Khalid. But I have to find exactly the place in Khalid, because even if you go to these grace locations that are pointing to some place, it's telling you where to go, but you need to know what that something is. So I finished this area. See, once I defeated Godfrey, well, see, that's another thing. Once you defeat a demigod, these waypoints that shows you where you have to go should have disappeared once you beat a demigod, so you don't confuse where you have to go again. Even after beating a boss, they're still pointing towards the direction of where the demigod throne is, or so on and so forth. They should disappear, and they don't. They just stay static as part of the design of the map. I don't think these were meant to disappear. They're part of the actually drawing itself, and the only coding that they code for a certain section they sliced out of the map to be a hyperlink. That said hyperlink, if it's done from a computer point of view, that hyperlink takes you to where you need to go to the location and transport you there. But the design of the actually link itself is just a core design, just like this era is designed, and they slice it out, and after slicing out they made it a link. So that's what this is. This probably wasn't, these things are pointing out like grace points, showing you the way towards your story on part of the hyperlink. And they don't need to be, but they should be disappeared once you defeat a boss, and because it's part of the actually design, it's never going to disappear. So I gotta actually find where Radahn is, otherwise I'll be stuck here for a long time. So that's something they never did, or probably got, or even if they did, they probably don't care that much, because it's Soul's design their way, not what other people are supposed to think it should be, which is fine. That's the way it's supposed to be, but like I said, run into the risk. So might have to go back to the beginning entrance from here, got through here, and then I got to the first one, then I went through the songs, blah blah blah. I'm trying to figure out where that castle was. So I got here. Chased down a storm night. It's a town, I believe. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Either I check online and figure it out on my. If I take too long to figure it out on my own, then I'll have to check online. That's what I'm saying. If a game forces you to check online or ask questions from other people, and that's something that a flaw of the game. It's not nostalgic at all. Okay, so apparently I was in a totally different location. I had to go to speak to Ronnie. Well, I'm pretty sure I spoke to Ronnie already. I hope she doesn't ask me about the stuff from the last time, because I don't want to get a bad ending for her. If I do get a bad ending, I'll have to do Game Plus and do it the right way. Alright, so we'll speak to Ronnie. I need to hear her dialogue a little, so I'll have to turn it up a little. Actually, I might need to turn it up a lot, because I might need to hear important words. Okay, she's sleeping because it's the morning time, and Ronnie usually is awake at the night. She's a night woman, so keep forgetting Ronnie is like to look up at stars. In the morning, she doesn't care for it. Well, never mind then. I guess I can't speak to Ronnie. So, we'll proceed forward to the next location. So, I believe the video or this information is when you first meet Ronnie. So, I already first met Ronnie, so we'll see what comes next. So, I'll have to check. See, this is what I'm talking about. Exploration is one thing, but if you're trying to get to a certain part in the story, you would not know that you have to go back and speak to Ronnie as part of the story. I don't know what the hell people are talking about, the greatest game of all times. At the very moment right now, it doesn't look that way. It only feels that way after you beat a game. Well, we'll see towards the end. I'm pretty sure it's going to be good towards the end. I mean, I'm still in the mid-9s, so things are still going good. I already stated certain things about the environment and everything, so that's fine. But I didn't get really into devils in the details stuff. And those are the things that fall into the 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 7, 0.8, 0.9, and then full ones. I already took off full ones from the game. I think 4 of them mostly. No, 5 of them mostly. I got it down to a 9.5. 5 main things. And I think today I took off another 4 point because of everything with regards to not knowing where to go specifically. Not about the shattering part of the story, but about her certain things are disorganized with regards to the story itself. The disorganization of the organization. But that doesn't deserve like a full one. It's basically everything I stated today in the last video and this video. So it's a combination of many things. So that's why I'm at a 9.4 today. So let me speed up this information and see if I could get to something as fast as I could get to it. Alright, so you move from Ronnie's location and then you go to what is this place? Okay, wait. You move from Ronnie's location to the basement of Ronnie's location. You go down. You speak to the different ghosts or those who serve her. I already did all that. You run out. Did all that. Portal will not be working at this time. So the portal will probably won't work. Let me see if I'm getting this correct. So you'll have to go to a location that's down south in the Khaled location, a portal location that's down south, and it's called something impeccable. The Green Bridge in Khaled. Do I have the Green Bridge unlocked in Khaled? Okay, so this is the Green Bridge area to where the gathering happens. And I'm assuming Radahn will be in this open plain area, because this is the castle here. Or maybe you get teleported into this vast open area right here. You get to fight him in an open area right here. But in order to get to this location, I first have to follow the path. Alright, so that's what I'm going to do. It's weird that there was no like grace indication going in that direction towards that bridge. If Radahn is there, a demigod was there, there would be grace pointing in that direction towards that bridge. It probably means that there's something I need to do before they start to actually show those things pop up on the screen. Or maybe I don't have to do anything at all. I just have to find a grace site location. Well, we'll see.
Trade again? Not finished yet.